I paid for my wife's plastic surgery, covered her while she recovered, rubbed ointment on her scars. "I feel like a new woman," she said. Then she changed her passwords, started dressing like she was always on a date. One night, I followed her, and found her in a hotel room with a guy from her support group. She told me, "He sees me the way you never did." I just nodded. A month later, her car was repossessed, her credit cards declined, and she realized everything was in my name. I'm a 38-year-old guy living in Loveland, Colorado. Been working construction since I was 20. Made my way up from laborer to foreman. I don't live fancy, but I've always been good with money. Steady. Reliable. That's what people call me, reliable. My wife, Cassie, was 27 when I met her. I was 29. She worked the register at this little craft store up in Fort Collins. Nothing fancy about her, but she had this easy way about her. Sweet voice. Nervous laugh. She listened when I talked. A lot of women don't. But she did. That meant something to me. We dated for a year. She moved into my place 6 months in. We got married at the courthouse. No big ceremony. I was fine with that. She said her mom didn't approve of much, and she didn't care to invite her. Her dad died when she was young. Didn't have much family otherwise. Things were good for a while. I kept working. Cassie got a job at a vet clinic a few days a week. She said she liked helping animals. We didn't have kids. She said maybe one day, but never pushed for it. After about 4 years, Cassie started getting quiet. She'd stare in the mirror longer than usual. She started comparing herself to people on TV or Instagram. She told me she felt like her face was sagging, that her stomach never looked right no matter how much she exercised. Said she didn't feel at home in her body. I told her she looked fine. Still beautiful to me. But she didn't believe it. Not really. Then she started bringing up plastic surgery. At first, I thought it was just talk. But she kept researching it. Looking at forums, pictures, reviews. She found a place in Boulder with great ratings. Said she wanted rhinoplasty, a jawline lift, eyelid work, and a mini tummy tuck. The whole deal. It was going to cost over $25,000. We didn't have that kind of money lying around. But I had excellent credit. So I took out a personal loan in my name, and put some of it on my credit card. She promised she'd help pay it off when she could. I took time off work to help her after the surgery. I cooked, cleaned, brought her meds on schedule. Rubbed ointment on her stitches and scars every night. She cried the first few days, said she looked like a monster. I told her it would heal, and I'd be right there through all of it. I didn't complain. Not once. I was proud of myself for being a good husband. 6 weeks later, she stood in front of the mirror and said, "I feel like a new woman." She smiled when she said it. But it was different. Not happy, more like powerful. That was the beginning of the end. She started dressing different. Makeup every day, even when we were just home. Tighter clothes. Got a personal trainer. She stopped wanting to sit on the couch and watch our shows. Didn't touch me at night. Said she was too tired. Or her body was still healing. She joined some kind of post-surgery support group. Said it was online at first, but then they started meeting up in person. Coffee, yoga, brunch. She said it helped her feel connected. Then she changed her phone password. She started keeping her phone face down all the time. Started locking her laptop, even when she just went to the bathroom. I asked her one night if something was going on. She said no, that I was imagining things. Told me I was being clingy and insecure. So I backed off. But I started watching. One night, she left her email open on the laptop. She was in the shower. I didn't go looking, I swear. But I saw the preview of an email from someone named Trey. I clicked it. He said he missed the way she tasted. My stomach dropped. I kept reading. She called him T. Said he made her feel alive. Said she wished they'd met sooner. Said she couldn't believe she'd wasted so many years in the wrong life. I just sat there. Couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. I didn't say anything that night. Or the next day. I needed to see it for myself. A week later, she said she was going to a group retreat at a hotel in Denver. Said she'd be gone overnight. I offered to drive her. She said no, she was carpooling with the girls. I waited 30 minutes after she left, then followed her. I knew she'd think I had work early, so she wouldn't expect me to check. She didn't go to Denver. She drove 20 minutes to a Holiday Inn off I-25 in Longmont. I parked far enough away not to be seen. Waited. Watched. At 7:45, a silver Lexus pulled in. Guy got out, mid-40s, real estate douche look, tight shirt, fake smile. She ran up to him like a damn teenager. Jumped into his arms. They kissed. Full on. Like I didn't exist. They went into room 212. I sat in my truck for 2 hours. Just staring at the door. Then I walked up. Knocked once. He answered in a towel. Cassie was sitting on the bed, legs crossed, wearing a silk robe. Hair down. Makeup perfect. She froze. Then rolled her eyes. I said, "So this is your support group?" She sighed. Like I was the one inconveniencing her. "He sees me the way you never did," she said. That's all she said. I nodded. Said nothing. Drove home. Didn't cry. I was too empty for that. That night I couldn't sleep. I just kept thinking about every meal I cooked while she healed. Every time I emptied her vomit bucket. Every scar I rubbed ointment into. And now she was lying in a hotel room with a man who saw her. A week later, I got organized. Every account was in my name. The surgery loan. The credit card. The car lease. The house was mine from before we met. She'd never been added to the title. I stopped paying the car loan. Waited for the repo guy to take it while she was out. I shut down the credit cards. Removed her as an authorized user. Froze them. Called the bank and opened a new checking account. Transferred everything out. Removed her access. She called me crying from the Safeway on Eisenhower. Her card got declined trying to buy groceries. I told her to call the bank. She did. Then she called me back screaming. Said I was ruining her life. I said, "You ruined mine first. Now we're even." She didn't take it well. The next day, she showed up at the house. I didn't even know she still had a key. She must have kept a copy I didn't find when I changed the locks. I was out back sanding some boards when I heard the front door slam. She came into the backyard, wild-eyed. "You're really gonna leave me with nothing?" she shouted. I didn't look at her. Just kept working. "You think you can do this to me? You think I'll just disappear?" I set the sander down and wiped my hands on a rag. "You already did," I said. "The second you walked into that hotel room." She stepped closer. "You don't understand. He's not who I thought he was." I raised an eyebrow. "That your way of saying he dumped you?" Her face tightened. That told me everything. "His ex found out about me," she said. "She threatened to take his kids. He freaked out and cut me off. So now I'm Plan B?" I asked. She didn't answer. Just stood there, looking lost. She wasn't wearing makeup. She looked tired. Smaller somehow. "I made a mistake," she said finally. "I didn't think it through." I gave a dry laugh. "You made a choice, Cassie. Not a mistake." She started crying. Real tears this time. But I'd seen them before. After the first time she got caught lying about money. After I found out she drained our joint savings to buy clothes and self-care stuff. I'd forgiven her then. Not anymore. I told her she had to go. She said she had nowhere to stay. I said there were motels. Shelters. Whatever. She tried to come back a week later. Said she needed some clothes. I left them in a trash bag on the porch. She knocked anyway. Tried to talk her way in. I didn't open the door. After that, she sent me a message. Said she was going to get a lawyer. Said she'd go after me for spousal support. That's when I stopped being quiet. I pulled up every transaction from the surgery. Every credit card statement. Every text where she admitted I paid for it. Screenshotted her emails to Trey. The dates. The hotel booking in her name. I sent them all to a lawyer I'd quietly retained the week after I left the hotel parking lot. When she filed for support, we hit back hard. My lawyer sent a full packet to hers. Every bit of proof that she was unfaithful, that I paid for her transformation, and that she'd moved out voluntarily. In Colorado, adultery doesn't always matter, but it sure doesn't help when you're the one asking for money after cheating. Suddenly she wasn't asking for support anymore. But that wasn't the end of it. She started trying to get sympathy from our mutual friends. The few couples we used to do dinners with. She told them I was controlling, that I financially abused her. One of the wives texted me. Asked if I was okay. Said Cassie was spinning stories. So I sent her the screenshots. Not all of them. Just enough. Word spread fast. Cassie didn't have many friends to begin with, and now most of them went silent. The final straw came when I got a call from a credit card company. Cassie had tried to open a new account, in my name. Used my social, old address, everything. She was trying to get back at me. Or maybe just survive. I don't know. But that was enough to press charges. I didn't, not yet. But I did report the fraud. And then I did something else. I sent Trey an email. Not to fight. Not to yell. Just a simple message. Hey, just a heads up, Cassie tried to open a credit card in my name. Watch your accounts. Good luck. No response. But I know he read it. 2 weeks went by after I sent that email to Trey. I didn't expect a response. I wasn't doing it for revenge at that point. I just wanted to make sure she didn't do to him what she did to me. Or at least give him fair warning. But then, one night around 10:30, I heard knocking at my door. Not just knocking, banging. I grabbed my old baseball bat and looked through the peephole. It was Trey. Alone. He looked like hell. Eyes bloodshot. Shirt wrinkled. Hair a mess. I opened the door a crack, just enough to talk. Didn't think I'd be seeing you. He held up his hands. Look, man. I'm not here to fight. I need to talk to you. Please. I let him in. Not because I trusted him. Because I wanted to hear whatever story had brought him to my porch looking like that. He sat down, didn't touch anything. Just stared at the floor for a while. Then he said, She told me you hit her. I blinked. What? She said you beat her. Said you were abusive. Controlling. She even showed me bruises. I didn't say anything. I just stared. He looked up. I believed her. That's why I didn't feel bad sleeping with her. I thought I was rescuing her. And now? He swallowed. I got a fraud alert last night. New account opened under my name. $2,000 racked up in 3 days. I confronted her. She said she needed help. That I owed her. When I pushed back, she screamed at me, called me a coward. Said you were a monster, and that I was no better. Then he looked me in the eyes and said, She's dangerous. I didn't argue. Trey left after 20 minutes. Didn't ask for advice. Just said he wanted to tell me face to face that he was sorry. A week later, I got a letter in the mail. Not from Cassie, this time, from a collections agency. Turns out, she'd used one of my old store cards. One I'd forgotten about. It had been closed, but somehow she convinced the store to reopen it under my name with an updated address. Ran it up on clothes and makeup. $1,800. I was done playing nice. I filed a police report for fraud and identity theft. Brought every document, every email, every text. They took it seriously. Especially when they saw the pattern, me, then Trey. That same week, Cassie posted a long Facebook rant. Full of half-truths, lies, and sad little pleas for pity. She said, people turn on her. And certain men think they can control women with money. She didn't use names, but everyone knew. I didn't respond publicly. But I did get a knock on my door 3 days later. This time from a detective. He asked a few questions, verified my documents, and thanked me for cooperating. Then he told me something that made my skin crawl. Cassie had been flagged in another case. Apparently, she tried to open a line of credit under someone else's name, an old coworker from the vet clinic. That woman had reported her too. There was now a pattern. A case. And it was building fast. About a month after the detective came by, I got a call from the DA's office in Larimer County. They were moving forward with charges against Cassie: fraud, identity theft, attempted credit card abuse. 3 victims had come forward now: me, Trey, and that woman from her old job at the vet clinic. They asked if I'd be willing to testify. I said yes. I thought that would be the end of it, that she'd finally be held accountable. But Cassie had one last trick up her sleeve. 2 weeks before the court date, I got served with papers. She was suing me for emotional damages. Claimed I financially trapped her in the marriage. Said I refused to let her work full-time, made her feel worthless, and gaslight her after the surgery. She said I used money to control her, and when she tried to leave, I destroyed her credit. On purpose. She filed the lawsuit herself. No lawyer. But it still had to be answered. I brought the whole damn file to my attorney. Emails, statements, the charges against her, everything. He shook his head and said, "This is going to be a circus." And it was. When the criminal case started, she walked into court with her hair in a tight bun, no makeup, wearing a beige cardigan. Tried to look soft. Harmless. Victimized. But the evidence didn't lie. They showed screenshots of her emails to Trey. Her signing into my accounts from different IPs. Her attempts to open cards in my name. They even brought in security camera footage from the Safeway showing her trying to pay with my cancelled credit card, then cursing out the cashier when it got declined. Trey testified. He admitted to the affair, told the court everything she'd said about me, how she lied to him too. Then I testified. Calm. Factual. Told them about the surgery, the recovery, how I cared for her when she couldn't move. Showed photos of the ointments, the invoices in my name. When her turn came, she cried. Said we were all trying to ruin her life. That she was just trying to start over, but men kept punishing her for being beautiful. The jury didn't buy it. She was found guilty on all charges. Got 18 months probation, 200 hours of community service, and had to pay restitution to all 3 of us. But it wasn't over yet. She still had her civil case against me. Only problem? She'd gone broke fighting the criminal charges. No job, no support, no place to live. She'd been couch surfing. She showed up to the civil court alone. I had my lawyer with me, and a full binder of proof. The judge dismissed her case in under an hour. But he didn't stop there. He turned to her and said, "You've made a mess of your life, and now you're trying to blame everyone else. That's not how the world works. Grow up." I walked out of that courtroom with my name cleared and my credit protected. She walked out with nothing. She tried to call me that night. Blocked number. Left a voicemail. "I lost everything," she said. "And I know you wanted this." She wasn't wrong. I deleted the message. Then I sat in my backyard with a beer and watched the sun go down. I didn't feel good. Didn't feel proud. But I felt done. And that was enough.